these are not no names in Congress. These are ranking and subcommittee members and ranking members of committees, named House Democrats that they put forward on the Sunday shows. One who led an impeachment against President Trump, Jamie Raskin, who in 2017 did not wanted to vote against certifying the election, couldn't find a fellow Senate Democrat to do that, and now is saying about this election before any votes have been counted. Some people are already voting early in states. He said that, quote, he definitely can't assume that Trump would use free, fair, and honest means to secure a victory. He'll do whatever he can to interfere with the process, whether we're talking about manipulating electoral college counts or manipulating the vote count in Georgia or imposing other kinds of impediments. Rick, I'd like to make one point very clear to people. Jamie Raskin may be having a flashback issue, but Donald Trump is not the president right now. He does not have the powers of the government. So all that he can do is through the courts is to battle what he believes are, and his campaign believes, and the RNC believes are illegal moves by states that are not securing the vote, and they take those to court. You win some, you lose some, and Jamie Raskin is calling that, again, interfering and imposing impediments to the vote counts.
Yeah, this is laughable. What Jamie Raskin and the Democrats are doing is exactly what they accused Republicans of doing, and yet here we go again. They're pointing the finger at us, but look what they're doing. They're undermining the democracy already. They're laying the groundwork that if Trump wins, there's going to be a case by Democrats to say he cheated, and therefore the election should not be certified. I thought we just went through 4 years of the media constantly asking every Republican, did this election, this past 2020 election, come off without a hitch? And the reality is that we say we got to look and see how the election plays out. But the people in charge right now are the Democrats. Remember that. The Democrats control the White House. They control the majority of county officials in the swing states where this vote is going to be watched very closely. We've already seen in Philadelphia. I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania now, but I've seen in Philadelphia, the officials there have said they're not going to be able to count all of the votes on election night. So the manipulation is a very real concern, and we have to stay focused on it. We have to be able to secure the elections, and we should be able to agree that having signature verification, having ID is just minimum standards. Except remember, the Democrats do not want voter ID. They do not want voter signature verifications because they spin it and they say it disenfranchises people, which is ridiculous. But that's their game.
We should remind people of what Representative Jamie Raskin did say earlier this year. Now, this bite was just about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before the Supreme Court ruled on the 14th Amendment case, which was really about whether the secretaries of state could unilaterally remove President Trump from the primary ballots. But what he says there, when you couple it with this reporting today about him not giving assurance that he would certify an election with a Trump victory, it's an ominous warning from him about what may be going on within the Democrats in Congress trying to figure a way out, maybe a new insurance plan a la Page and Strzok.
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means.
It's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. and then invokes civil war conditions because of the Supreme Court. And we've heard all along that the threat to democracy are President Trump and MAGA Republicans that want to see free and fair elections, that want to see people strive and have good economic conditions and want to put America first instead of globalism first. And yet he's mentioning civil war conditions and saying it's up to Congress on January 6, 2025 to tell the Trump mobs that he's disqualified. That is a frightening bite, especially in context of the Democrats that Axios is reporting on that won't commit to certifying an election for President Trump.
So this is something they've got brewing, obviously, that we need to be on the lookout for, which is that if the election is close, which, listen, close could mean that you win a lot of states, but if you win them by very small vote count numbers, so your electoral college number could be big, it could be tight too. So either way, they're going to try and say, well, should we try and maybe decertify Trump now as a actual, that now that he's won, can we go in and say, well, now that he's actually won and would become president, can we use anything we've got against him to say that he can't actually take the oath, and thus we can't certify him to be president of the United States? And how long could we drag this out? It's like if we win, they're setting the standard that if Republicans win, they must have broken the law, they must have cheated, they must have done something to violate someone's civil rights. There's no way they could beat us in a free and fair election. I mean, that's really the kind of tone that they're setting, which is also one that can be very dangerous in the country when you start putting out there that the only way these guys can win is if they do something illegal. I mean, that's basically what they're saying.
Right, and they've made IDs illegal. So the only way that these guys can win is if we have an election where we know that it's safe and secure. And if they attack the way that we've set up these elections, then they've manipulated the process. Look, common sense has to reign the day. The Democratic Party is completely devoid of common sense. When they lose, they want to add Supreme Court members so that they manipulate the court. When they lose, they want to add new states so that they have more senators. They are manipulating the process. When they don't like their candidate at the last minute, they push the candidate out. They don't have a Democratic primary. They install who they want, and then they have people like Jamie Raskin who go and wag their fingers to say, don't challenge our process, otherwise you are the bad guy. This is devoid of common sense. No one should feel bad about pushing back against this. A closed border and not having two wars is common sense. Gas prices where we are able to drill in our own country is common sense.